The New York Mets have found their ace, and it is via the trade market as they just acquired Milwaukee Brewers ace Freddy Peralta, and also getting Tobias Meyers in the deal, a very good relief pitcher. Spot starter is going to be tremendous for the New York Mets. I'm going to get into the whole deal on what the Mets gave up. It's a hefty price, 2 top prospects. And guys, breaking news down here. You know we're going to have it on this channel for the New York Mets. Like this video, share this video, subscribe to this channel. All wall-to-wall Mets offseason talk. I told you guys to be patient. Let's get straight into this video here. The New York Mets acquire Freddy Peralta. They acquire Freddy Peralta. Everybody's been waiting. Everybody's been waiting. Let's get into the trade package first, and then I'll give you guys my thoughts on this deal. Again, guys, hefty price the Mets gave up, but pitching is expensive, isn't it? MLB.com, Mets reportedly acquire right-handed pitcher Freddy Peralta and Tobias Meyers from the Milwaukee Brewers for Jet Williams and Brandon Sproat. That is what the reports are. It is a hefty price, guys. You're getting a Freddy Peralta here. Now, I was not a fan of this deal if it was strictly going to be Freddy Peralta, but the fact that they were able to include Tobias Meyers in this deal is a great thing for the Mets. They're getting a frontline starting ace, which is exactly what the fan base wanted. Everybody was crying that the Mets don't have pitching. Everybody was crying that the Mets don't have a frontline starter. Crying this, crying that. Everybody, calm down. I told you to calm down. I told you guys to calm down. I just did a video. Check the last video I made, guys, going over all of Freddy Peralta's all-star appearances, all of Freddy Peralta's numbers. I'm not going to bore you guys with that anymore. This is a celebration video that the New York Metropolitans and David Stearns got their frontline starter. Freddy Peralta is a New York Met. Now, I would assume that they're going to try and get some sort of extension done before spring training. That's the only thing that I could think about with them giving up 2 top prospects. Getting into, first of all, let's get into what we're giving up here, like we did with Luis Robert Jr. and Acuna. Jet Williams is the Mets' second best position player prospect. From the outside looking, and if you're unaware of Jet Williams, he doesn't have a position on this team, okay? He's a 5'6", 5'7" guy. Not a lot of pop. OPS doesn't really wow you. He didn't. AAA numbers don't really wow you. But he just doesn't have a position on this roster with all of the infielders that we have. He could play a little bit of outfield, but we're going to be clogged there soon with our number 1 prospect, Carson Benj, coming up. He might be able to take that spot right away. I'm not mad at all because the Mets have an influx of talent in their farm system, the top farm system in baseball. And if not the top, they're one of the top 2 or 3 farm systems in baseball. They could afford to get rid of some of these guys. So Jet Williams goes. I'm not mad about that. The one that does sting a little bit more for me is Brandon Sproat. I was a big Brandon Sproat guy. I actually like him a little bit more than Jonah Tong. I know around the league, Jonah Tong is really highly coveted, so you weren't going to give him up in a deal like this. Tong's the type of pitcher you're not giving up unless it's in a deal for the next tier above Freddy Peralta, like a Skubal or a Skeens or one of those guys. That's how highly coveted Jonah Tong is in the Mets organization. So, again, this is a huge W for the Mets. Sproat does hurt. I get it. Brandon Sproat hurts a little bit, but we're all going to get over it. All right? We're all going to get over it. At the end of the day, if you know me, prospects are prospects for a reason. They're called prospects for a reason. It does hurt to see some of them go, and I did not want to see Brandon Sproat go, but pitching is really expensive in baseball right now. Just look at some of the pitchers that have been acquired by other teams. Look at some of the deals that Dylan Cease got $30 million a year over 7 years. You're going to see Ranger Suarez got $27 million a year. You're going to see Fremar Valdez get close to $30 million a year. Don't know about the years, but you're going to see these guys getting paid big money. And to trade for them, you're going to have to give up some sort of prospects. And you got to give to get. In sports, you got to give to get. If this was some sort of salary dump, it'd be easier, but it wasn't. What are you getting in Freddy Peralta? You're getting a frontline starter. All right. You want to use the term ace. I think in today's time, Freddy Peralta does classify as an ace because the term ace is, I mean, you want to go down the line. Paul Skeens is an ace. Tyreek Skubal's an ace. You're looking at guy. I get it. Those are next tier above. But there's different levels of ace, and I think Freddy Peralta is the guy that could go number 1 into your rotation. We got into the numbers in my last video. All-Star season last year. Pitched in 150-plus innings, which the Mets pitchers just seem not to do anymore. This is a great deal that I think, I hate to harp back on a lot of the stuff that I had to sit through in middle November until now, right? With what David Stearns is doing for this franchise. Finally, a guy had the sack to come to this franchise and just flip it on its head. Because what was happening here was not working. It was not working. 2 playoff appearances in 7 years. It was not working. Get it through your heads, guys. It was not working. I told you he's going to flip this and put it his way to where it was working in Milwaukee. Did it result in World Series? No. Did it result in sustained contending winning? Yes. Would you sign up for that as a Mets fan right now? I think you would. And that's exactly what he needed to do. He had the sack to come here and do it. He went through all the bashing, all the emotions of the fan base. That Pete Alonso walked. Brandon Nimmo was traded. McNeil's gone. Some guys had to go. This clubhouse was broken. Some of these guys had to go. And this is the exact reason I loved what David Stearns was all about in Milwaukee. Here, they tried to win it for 2 years with this core. Didn't work. So now they're retooling and rebuilding at the same time with major playoff aspirations. The Mets currently constructed are a better team than they were in 2025. And it's not even debatable. It's not even debatable. And I don't think they're done after this. That's the most exciting part about this. Okay? They go out. They lose on. They wanted Kyle Tucker. They did everything they could to get Kyle Tucker. Unfortunately, he chose the Dodgers. Even though the Mets in the first 2 years offered more money. They pivot. They go to a guy who they were speaking to in November in Bo Bichette. They were interested right away in getting a deal done with Bo Bichette immediately. The rumor was that they wanted Tucker and Bichette. They wound up with just Bichette. Now, Mets need an outfielder. They go out. They get one of the guys with some of the best tools in all of baseball, in Luis Robert Jr., who, with the potential at 28 years old to be budding into a star in this league. If you could get that talent out of him again. And at worst, he's going to give you great defense, great speed on the base paths, stolen bases. He's giving you that at his worst. And then the next night, when you suck all that in, here comes Freddy Peralta. Here comes Tobias Meyers. And people are going to look at Tobias Meyers and say, they're just throwing him in. A quality starting pitcher who they moved to the bullpen with a 1.91 ERA when he was moved to the bullpen. Mets can use him in spot starts. They could bring him out of the pen. And by the way, this Met bullpen is starting to look a lot better than it was over a month ago. What do you think about that? Because I think the combination of Williams, Weaver, Minter, Brooks Raley, now you have Meyers involved in this. Maybe they bring in another arm. They just signed Luis Garcia, who's got some pretty good stuff. The bullpen's coming together. The rotation's coming together because all I had to hear for 3 months was, Mike, they need starting pitching. Mike, they don't have an ace. Mike, they don't have this. That. I said be patient because nothing this offseason was moving. Nothing was moving at the pace that we might be used to with the MLB offseason. Everything was moving slowly. Everything. Everything moves slow. The trade market, the free agent market, Bellinger just got signed today. Tucker just got signed a couple days ago. Bichette, some of the best guys on the trade market and the free agency market just got moved in the last 2 weeks. The season ended 3 months ago. This offseason was moving slow. But something that I pounded the table for with Mets fans while they were bashing David Stearns was to be patient and wait to see the team he puts on the field come opening day 2026. And you guys didn't do it. You bashed him again. And some of you will never stop bashing him because your head's so far up Pete Alonso's ass that you could see what he ate for dinner the night before. Your head's so far up Brandon Nimmo's ass because he was a nice guy. I'm sorry. I don't care about nice guys. I don't care about homegrown guys. I care about winning. I want to win, and I think this is the path, the correct path for the Mets to be on when it comes to consistent, sustained winning. And at the end of the day, guys, if I'm right or wrong, I'm not getting fired. David Stearns is wrong, he'll get fired. You guys will get your wish. But you guys balked at the idea that we can't be a competitive team without Pete Alonso and Brandon Nimmo. It's unbelievable. 2 playoff appearances in 7 years. 2. And you guys would just bring them all back. No. I'd much rather have what David Stearns is building going into 2026 with the flexibility of the payroll, with the flexibility of all the position players, the starting pitching, the relief pitching that he's putting on this team. I'd much rather be in this position than run it back again with the same old crap that we've been dealing with for 7 years. Positively, Mets got Freddy Peralta. So if you guys like this video, share, like, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.